Tuesday night chat. I'm Kelly Wilkins from My Self Reliance, and I'm your host. But tonight we have a wonderful guest speaker, and I'm so excited because we finished off last year with Roxy Lebrasse, talking about how to wrap up the year and how to. We looked at having our best year ever in 2024. And tonight we have Roxy again with us talking about how to grow our business. Maybe you have a business and you want to know how to make it recession proof. Maybe you are wanting to be more self-reliant and have a business but haven't quite figured out how to get that off the ground. Or maybe you don't have a business at all, but maybe you have an idea for something. And so tonight you're going to get lots of value out of Roxy has to share with us, because wherever you are at on that scale, maybe you've never thought about having a business and you work for somebody, and maybe you're just tired of that, turning up to that day job all the time, and it's quite draining. Why not turn that effort into something for yourself? This is the place to be, where we look at all those different ways that we can be self-reliant, and having your own business, I think, is one of the best ways. And I absolutely encourage everyone to have a plan B. For the time being, keep your day job while you're preparing your plan B to make your plan B become your plan A. That's build up your skills, and we all have something inside of us that is dying to get out and to share with others. So welcome, Roxy.
Thank you. What a nice introduction.
Well, let me do a bit more introduction just on Roxy. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. But Roxy Lebrasse is one of my favorite people on the planet. She's just really helped me shape the direction of my future. When I met Roxy, I thought we were engaging in business to build my network marketing business, and really she helped me create something of my own, and along with my beautiful team at My Self Reliance, we're out there really changing lives. And that's what Roxy does best. Now, you may have seen Roxy Lebrasse on such programs as The Voice, as the contestant on The Voice, or singing alongside of
James Morrison.
Morrison. I was going to say Morrison. I'm like, I know that's not right. James Morrison. But these days she's actually in Mauritius, and a few months of the year she goes to Monaco to sing and to perform, and she's just living the dream, guys. So about designing your life to live it the way you desire, and not by anybody else's rules but your own. So thanks for coming on tonight, Roxy.
Thank you. I think that I'm going to say that the most important thing about something what keeps me going is that I literally have to live by the messages. If I can't teach something that I'm not already doing, and so the tagline of my business is life and business by design. It's not let's get rich real quick, and it's not, but it's the idea that I get to be on my time and my terms, and that I can come up with a dream and then actually go after it and back myself to make it happen, and show some consistent wins, with just the ability to apply myself. And there's nothing special about what I do, because I've been a performer and a singer for a very long time, and I guess I'm pretty good at that. But and over the years have picked things that have just sort of picked up and learned something new, and then being able to drive whatever that is forward as well. So don't think that you need some kind of special skill in order to create something amazing for yourself. I think it's just about really applying yourself and getting that turning on that ambition spark and really deciding that you're going to create. You're going to be the creator, and I do always talk about the creator mindset in the set that like people will create songs and they create art, but they also create moments and opportunities and jobs, and you know that's what we are actually made to do. We're made to create things. So yeah, so today is exciting. I really love um, talking. I really love to move people from 9 to 5, from employee to entrepreneur. That is literally my favorite thing to do in the coaching space, and empower people just to be more in control of their time and their earnings, because it's literally, to me, the core foundation of self-reliance is to understand, to have like autonomy over the energy spent with whomever, the income that you're making and your job security, and being able to spend your time however you desire. You know, I feel like that's actually what makes people more happy, because you can make a lot of money and have all your bills paid, but have absolutely no time and work a terrible job with horrible people and still be unhappy. But there are a lot of people these days who are living their life, who are living comfortably, but they also have enough time to do to be, not to do. And I think that to me is the secret source of success, is actually being able to sustain yourself, sustain your expenses, be comfortable, but also have time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And I feel like that's something that we miss. You know, if I wanted to be, you know, if everything had resolved around money, then people wouldn't be leaving jobs that were making them, you know, very good money. There's still people leave because they get to the top and the pressure's too much. The people are horrible, or their soul isn't lit up. But if we can start our work and our income from that place, from a place of passion, and from a place of creation, then the then you know you're going to be happy. And so it's like, you know, they talk about that the poor musician is happy. um, but it's about starting from the happy place and then building the income and the stability around the passion. I feel like that's, people do it the other way around. They're like, oh, I'm going to make a lot of money and then I'm going to be whatever it is, I'm going to be comfortable. Rather, you're like, why don't I just be comfortable now and then make the money from my place of comfort? Yeah.
Yeah. When you do that, then you live your soul purpose, what you're really here for.
Yeah.
Roxy, I'm just gonna ask you, maybe if you can hold the mic part up of your, we might not
So
get
yeah,
any little bit of feedback coming in. That might be better.
when I'm moving, or it is okay now?
Yeah, I think it's better. And every now and then I'm just waiting. It sounds like there's somebody in your background. That's what it sounds like.
Oh, okay. It's picking up some. I'm in the lobby of a 5-star hotel.
Yeah, we
I'm
love it.
going to tell you, because I'm gonna tell you that just before we came here, I was talking to Kelly about what I was doing here in Mauritius today, and she said to me, "I love how you could just land somewhere and then just create things,
Yeah.
because it's
Tell us that story. Tell us, what are you doing in Mauritius, Roxy?
Well, currently, right now, I have decided that I want to rebrand the culture of one of the 5-star resorts that are around here. Um, so I yeah, I was like, I'm going to do that. I see that there is a place for me to use what I do in terms of empowering people to change and to grow and to develop a personality and a brand. And I'm going to do it, um, in a resort style. So I had booked a meeting with and somehow got into the GM's ear and talked my way into a consultancy position where I come here and starting with entertainment first, but department by department, we'll go through what's wrong and how we can make it better and how we can make it unique and authentic to here. And so for me, it was like I came here and off the back of being in Monaco, just needing a little bit of a break, and the island calls, you got to respond to it. And then but by the time I got here, I was like, okay, I actually need to make some extra income for myself. And instead of going and looking and applying for jobs on, the boards or whatever, I'm like, what would I actually like to be doing? And then I went, I want to do, wouldn't it be really cool to do this? And then I just went and did it. And I feel like I'm proof that you can actually do that kind of stuff. Because wherever I land, I build community and I create work instead of finding work for myself. And I feel like that is probably the one thing, like the belief that I have that allows me to keep going with my business and just keep moving. It's that I have the ability to create work for myself. And again, it's not like a special talent. It's the idea that, yeah, I could do that. And I feel like a lot of people don't have don't have the mindset and the belief of that. They're like, oh, I could do that, but I need something else. I need someone else to do that for me. I can't just create it out of nothing. So this job wasn't advertised. It's just, I just saw that it might be something cool and they might appreciate my perspective and my expertise on what I'm doing. And so here I am. And I come and go as I please. And so I'm on my time, on my terms, and I'm like, oh, I think that the way that you do this thing can be done better in this. I brought creative ideas, and we're overhauling the culture of the resort to theme it in a particular way. So yeah, so
You should have
that's the
heard her when
latest
she
thing that I've
arrived
been
at the
doing.
hotel. Sorry, when Roxy arrived at the hotel and she said, "Oh yes, there's a room for me, and I'm your consultant. So just make one available. Thanks very much." She just calls the shots, girlfriend.
And to be honest, part of um, when we talk about having conversations with people and negotiations, when we do deal with negotiating on any kind of thing that you want to do, it's all about the way that we present ourselves and the language that you use. And I guess it's like sometimes if you leave out the asking part and you just state what you want, that people will just be like, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's not like, can I? Like, we really need to stop asking, can we do things? Because yes, of course we can. Yeah. The language behind it is, this is what I'm going to do, and here, this is what I've got for you. So when can we start? And when you can confidently say that, you're going to get people who are like, oh, she's confident. And then they're going to go, why is she so confident? And most people go, oh, she knows what she's talking about. She wouldn't be that confident. Yeah. And it's getting to that place that I feel that really, once you get into the door, into the room full of people, that's where that power of your presence and your mindset and your ability to back yourself, you know, is where it's at.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. But confidence is everything. Because knowledge is great, but the confidence that character.
Correct. And the other thing is that you don't like you can never be overly confident about something that you don't know anything about. That's a different thing. That's acting, and the energy behind that comes through, and people see past it. So if you really want to be confident, it's equipping yourself with the knowledge and then having those two pieces, so that when the smoke and mirrors does fall away, there is something to back it up. And that is keeping yourself informed, that's keeping yourself skilled. So the importance of learning new things and getting yourself into a space where you're surrounded by people or resources that you can learn from is so important, for the basis of reminding you that you've done the work. So that's what your confidence is based on.
Mm, that's right. So tell us then more about uh, being in business and how we can be in business during a downturn.
Okay, so what I always tell my clients is that the moment that you decide that you're in business, you're in business. So you don't actually have to physically do anything to start your business except to go, okay, I'm in business now, because people make money from the most ridiculous things these days, and that there is actually no like people who are in business, people make money by having someone watch them do something, having somebody watch them sleep. Online. There's some uh, crazy things out there, but what I always say is that everyone's on this thing that, oh, I need all this stuff to actually get myself going. But really, you just need to decide, I'm going to start working for myself. And I've decided that I'm going to trade something that I have for, for money, for something else. Yeah, that's you being in business. You can open up your doors to your shop without having a physical shop, without having a website, without having a whole bunch of other things, and just deciding, okay, if somebody came up to me and said, could you help me do this and I'll pay you for that, and your answer is yes, then guess what? You have a business. Yeah. The second part of it is obviously the legalities and the being able to take payment, being able to share information, deliver on whatever it is you're doing, and being able to take payment. So it's actually not that complicated. People are like, oh gosh, in order to become this business person, I'm going to have to change the way I look. I'm going to have to change my personality. I'm going to have to go to a course. I'm going to have to get qualified in this. I'm going to have to hire an office. I'm going to have to get an email address, and sometimes all of that planning is so overwhelming that it just makes people think, oh my gosh, this is too hard. I can't do that. So, whereas at the end of the day, each of you here, if somebody came to you and said, hey, I've got this job, I need this done, could you do it? And I'm going to pay you this much. If you can say yes to that, then you're in business. Yeah. And I think where it comes to self-reliance is the fact that you don't ever want to have all your eggs in one basket. So even if you are being looked after and you've got somebody employing you, if you've given all of your time and energy to that person, and then, we say, oh, but that's job security. But as soon as downturn happens, and I think we saw it a lot through, the COVID stuff that happened, that at any time people can just be made redundant, fired, or even worse, stood down without pay. So you're not actually fired. We're just not going to pay you. All right. And I think a lot of people's idea of full-time being secure and stable went out the window. And at the end of the day, when you start to create your own work and your own ways to build an income and to earn, and whether that's earning or even bartering to get something else, if it's not money, but you're trading, then you know that you that you're the boss, and you won't ever get fired because you don't fire yourself. The only person that's going to fire you is you. So the only thing that you could really do is do a bad job, but you can't get fired, right? And when it comes down to it, anyone who owns a business and is employing somebody else, when it comes down to it, they actually need to look after themselves first, and they will let go at everyone else's expense in order to survive. And so you need to put some of your income into this space in order to really give yourself that safety net. And I'm not going to call it a plan B, because eventually what you want is for that to be the plan A. Yeah, so you just really want to make sure that the part of your income sits in a place where you can't take it away. No one can take it away from you. Yeah, and there's a few ways that actually happens. I'll expand on that. I feel like I'm talking way too much. Kelly, ask questions.
Yeah, but no, that's awesome. So, tell us about, because you and I were talking earlier, and there was some career paths, or I should say businesses, that really survive through hard times.
Correct. So when we talk about what a business actually does, it's as simple as solve a problem. Yeah. So if you can identify a problem that is happening in your community or in a community or in a business or in the people around you, and then you can figure out a solution to that by doing something, then you have the idea to create a business, right? It's literally problem solving, and that's all it needs to be. You've got a problem and I know how to fix that, or I know how to help with that, then that's the business idea. That's what business ideas are, essentially. Yeah. And so there are some problems that are timeless and that don't go away and that are ongoing. There are some skills there are things that people need that become essential, that won't ever go away, doesn't matter what the economy is looking like. And so what you really need to think about again, is diversifying the skills that you have and the skills that you're trading in order to have some of them into essential, especially if you tend to be passionate about things that are considered as a luxury. Yeah. And like the example that I would say is like somebody who is a hairdresser, people are always going to need their haircut, for example. Yeah, people are always going to need food, for example. So all of these essential services and products, that it doesn't matter how bad, it's going to be the bare minimum. If you can offer solutions in everyday essentials, then you're already one up. You always have work. Yeah. And secondly, the other thing that I feel like is really good in recession is, which people don't see, but it's been proven in data, is that entertainment and culture really thrives in hard times, because people need a distraction and an escape from the world that is maybe crashing down around them. Yeah, so if you can offer a service that makes people feel good, and feel rise above their current situation, even if it's just for a moment, then that's also something that that does really well. So, and I mean, I read in like wartime even, where shows and entertainment become very, 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 very successful because people just want to watch things and not have to feel like they're in the real world. So that's one of the things that I feel like people don't maybe not have thought about. But the process by which we get to the actual conceptualizing of the idea is to look at, or what is the current skills that we have? And sometimes if you're working 9 to 5, what are you actually doing, and how can those skills be applied across the board, um, in a different space, rather than looking at your job title? So if I am a singer, for example, then I can only be a singer in certain, in certain venues or whatever it is, in certain situations. I can't just be a singer everywhere and everywhere, right? But what are the skills that require me to be the to perform? And so then I have very good people skills. I have a really good way of performing and being present. I have uh, I'm very, because I'm a songwriter. I'm good with words and putting words together. I'm good with singing and the aesthetic and the sound of things. So if you can break down your current position by the skill sets that you've gained from being in that position, and then where can I use that skill set elsewhere? So this is how I became a coach, because I saw that I didn't want to be making all of my money singing and doing late nights and just jumping up and using my voice to sing. So I'm like, but what if I started to show people how to be confident and visible on stage or in a room, and be able to network and be able to use the people skill knowledge that I have, and how can I share and show people that? Yeah,
Mm.
everybody that has a skill and has a skill set that can be used across the board for something else. You just have to think about it in that regard.
Yeah, and I would also say you have those set of skills because there's something innate about you that is important to you, and it comes from somewhere deep within, and perhaps it's part of your life journey to make a difference in this world because of those skills, or because maybe you've come through some hardship, or maybe you've overcome some challenges and things, and now you've developed this other ability that other people need. I guess a lot of life coaching
Absolutely.
come through that, right?
Well, life coaching, but also like the work in like in connecting with like your spirituality side and your energy side of things is super important. Like being a part of or going on that holistic journey for yourself is going to also be really, really important, because by those processes of how we actually discover the things we are that are naturally for us, and then we can lean into those things. And so it's like working with life coaches and healers and people that are going to open up your soul so that you can see what's in here, um, rather than just um, relying on the outside world to layer you with things, or to label you with who you are. Going back to finding underneath all those layers who you are on the inside, um, is so important. And and being able to listen to the intuition, listen to the inner GPS, we call it, that allows you. And sometimes it takes speaking with somebody in that field to extract that. Um, and but once you find the things that light up your soul, it's very, very difficult to ignore them. Yeah, and so and those are the kind of things that I think that if you don't take action on them, they recur, moments that recur over and over again until you pay attention.
Yeah, I love that. I'm wondering if anyone in the audience would like to put into a chat a question that you might have around business, or your anything that Roxy said tonight. Give you a minute to think about that. And really, that was the joy that we went on in this when My Self Reliance was born, was, you know, going through bringing out what that inner desire to use all the knowledge that I had and background and you know, I just recall my dad was an organizer of events, you know, and would produce things. We lived on farm with very little, and you know, and so we had to be self-reliant. So we've got a question in the chat.
How to start and where to start. I love it. Like I said, number one is to decide that you're going to start. Right? You start with a thought process or place in your mind where you go, okay, I'm ready to go on this journey. I know that I can do this. And secondly, to understand that you don't need that much and that you are enough. The one thing that stops people from actually starting their business is the feeling that they're not enough, they haven't got enough to start. Yeah. And so it's dealing and fighting, and that I'm not going to say that that stuff goes away. Imposter syndrome and not being enough and all these things don't actually go away. They niggle at you, and then you just kind of regulate the niggle and you move through it. What if we know we are enough but have bills to pay? Okay, well, firstly, you create, you've got to conceptualize the idea. So the idea comes from looking at the skills that you have and the problems that you could potentially solve. And I would start with in your local community, in your local area, in your local, like in the network that you already have. Can you identify how you can really help or a problem that you may be able to solve? What are the people around me struggling with? And could I potentially find an answer to that? So these are the questions that like these, there's a few of them, but these are the question that you really understand in order to create and conceptualize a business idea. Yeah. And it's like, could be something like, there is a lot of people since inflation is so high, a lot of people are taking extra shifts and they need help with their children being entertained or minded, and childcare is getting too expensive. Could I, do some babies? It could be as simple as that, or a lot of people are deciding to homeschool their children but have no idea how to do it. Could I create, and I'm a teacher or or I know how to find that information. Could I present this information in a way that I can help people fill that gap and then monetize that? Or there's a lot of people that are up to their ears in admin work. Could I take the stress of somebody by becoming a assistant, a VA, for example? HS secretary. Yeah, and so it's really just coming up with how you could solve a problem. Think about what problems the world is facing at the moment. Like one of the ones that we identified, and I think I sent maybe Emma and Kelly this the other day, is my son and I were looking, because my kids homeschool, we're looking for a homeschool project, and I watched a video about food security, which I think we deal with a lot of in My Self Reliance, and I decided we would try and look into a aquaponics kind of garden bed, and how to grow vegetables in a very small space. And then I found somewhere where I could do it. And then I decided to work with Chance in order to build this thing, which we will start getting done. But the moment that we have done something and done it successfully, is like, well, I could probably do that again for somebody else and maybe get paid to help them set up their. Yeah, it's so being able to create something and replicate something and solve a problem. And if it means that then I could grow some vegetables and save some money on some of the things that we're buying, because like even here in Mauritius, tomatoes and certain vegetables are super expensive because they have to come from overseas. But if we grow them ourselves, and then and we empower other people to grow things for themselves, and what happens is everyone in our community lifts and is in a better position to save money and then spend money on each other. And it's recognizing that that trade only happens when we have a community that is supporting each other. And I feel like where we kind of one of the scams that we have is that we think that the community is online and across the globe because of internet connectivity and technology. Yeah, we think that the town square is somewhere online on a Facebook or on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Whereas your network starts at home, where you are, when you walk out of your house, who you see, your neighbors, the people that you interact with in real life, and then in real life in situations like this. When we come together in community discussions, when we attend expos and festivals and come together as a community, that's where real magic, that's where real business happens. That's where we get to empower each other. That is actually our network. The other stuff is secondary. And if you focus on what is around you first, then it becomes really, really easy then for it to overspill into that next level, and expand level by level. So have a look at the people around you and identify their problems. It's probably the best place to begin. And then find a way to create a solution or some solutions to the problems that are happening in your direct community. Emma, did you want to say something?
Angie has a question.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yep.
Say you want to start another business or new business, whatever. You want to go into business for yourself, and it's in an area that you have no experience. You don't know much about it, but you have a passion for it. So I guess the first thing you do is research, and you develop on knowledge, but how far do you go with that? Could you be forever researching and developing the knowledge before you actually start and put yourself out there?
So there's a phenomenon that we deal with as coaches called people who want to study forever. And they're like the learners who never implement, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to learn, I'm going to buy every course, I'm going to come and do, I'm going to engage in a coach, I'm going to spend all my money as a forever learner. And we actually see it in universities as well, people who just keep doing degrees, just do another one, just a full-time knowledge sponge, and that's it, right? But the second stage is to implement the things that you learn. And there is actually no I don't think there is any like time frame on when that gets done, except for the fact that you just go, you know what, I'm just going to do this, because the human condition actually is, if you want to create something, you will find all the knowledge and you will learn on the job, because you're more determined. You have that passion to just get something done. Most things are built around logistics. And we have enough technology and resources and internet to be able to ask for the things that we don't know. And if you're a person that can answer the question of, I don't, I don't know how to do something, but how do I find out, and can go further and go, I can ask Google, or oh, I can ask that person who may know to that, then you're already 70% above everybody else that who will never ever ask. That will just go, oh, I don't know how to do that. I'm just going to stop. Yeah, it's the drive to be okay with not knowing everything, because that is the difference between people who excel in business and people who don't. People who grow their businesses often grow their business having the passion and the intention to do something amazing, not necessarily all of the knowledge on how it's going to get done. And just know that when they run into somewhere where they don't know what to do, they can find the answer by asking somebody who does, and be okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
I think for me personally, some of that comes from I guess the fear and awkwardness of someone asking you a question that you should know the answer to, being in that business, but you don't know, so you end up looking like a fool because you
Okay,
know
but
that somebody in that business should know that.
okay, but perhaps it's in the way that we communicate that we may not know the answer. So if you say to somebody asks you a specific question, and then you can go, you could say to them, okay, well, I will actually look that up to you to actually answer your correction, your question accurately. Let me come back to you with that, and give yourself that time to communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, for example, if somebody asks you, sorry?
That's one thing I've learned in my job, Andrew, being in a management role or upper management as well. You don't have the answer. The simple answer is, I will come back to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And be okay with that. It is better off to say, I'm going to come back to you, than give somebody the wrong information, then come back and correct yourself.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a really good question. Let me find out, because the answer to that question changes all the time. So let me find out. Let me go and do some research and come back to you with what's relevant right now.
Yeah.
Isn't that a nice way to answer something you don't know?
Yeah,
Rather than,
well,
no, I don't know, man. Well, or even worse, the shifty eyes.
Oh,
Be okay, because often anyone can find the answers to anything these days. There's so much information. We're in the era of information era. Anyone can find it, right? Often what you need to know is how to frame the questions.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
What's the question that I need to ask to get to the information that I actually need? Yeah. And sometimes that middleman is like the person that's willing to craft the correct question and go look for it. People don't want to do the research part. People don't want to do the part in the middle. They just want it done for them.
Yeah.
And so there's a really good place in the service industry for that.
I think the other part, I think sort of Mid's alluded to that too, is there's going to be a period, if you're already got a job that's fairly intensive, I guess, there's going to have to be a bit of an overlap initially, where you're going to have to do extra on top of what you normally do to transition into whatever you're going to be building, because you can't.
Correct.
Because everybody's busy and you're not building it when you've got free time. You're kind of making time to do it.
So I find that most people who are struggling under their business capability like that, if you're working a 40-hour job and you're struggling to do anything else, it's because you're not actually working to your contract a 38-hour job, if you're doing a lot more. So when you have a look down at actually how much time and energy they're spending on that business, they're spending up towards to 60 on average, and it's a boundary issue.
Yeah.
It's about going, okay, cool, but this isn't my business. And what you've asked me to do, I can do to this capacity. And this is actually what I'm contracted to do. And being able to push back on giving yourself back some of that time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of that's conditioning too. We've been
100% conditioning. And the world, like the corporate world does not want us to change. They want us to be able to dedicate all of our energy, because if we worked out that we could actually just say no,
Mm.
then we would, and we might, do less work for them. So it's like this thing of, let's not talk about that, and then we don't have to deal with it. And these people can be led to think a certain way, and that's fine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you know what, honestly,
Yeah.
Rock, amen to that, because I worked in between 12 to 14-hour days, 4 days a week, coming home at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Not my contract, I'm paid. And last year, at the end of last year, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give you a list of what my limits are, what my conditions are, and what my expectations are. And ever since, so much better,
That's it. Most of the time, it comes from a place where you're enabling this situation. Yeah, because there are some people who you may even work in the same office as you often, that literally just come in at 9 and leave at 5. Even if they're in the middle of a word, they're not going to finish that word in the typing. I'm out. Yeah, and then we go, why can't I be like that? Well, you can if you really wanted to be. Yeah, and it's about realizing that you don't live to work. You work so that you can live. And
Yeah.
so it's that unconditioning of this mindset to, and most people are scared to do that because they're scared that they're going to get fired, or they're scared that it will affect their job security, right? But consider that if you're that much of a hard worker and you're good at your job and you've been doing it a long time, it's going to be increasingly difficult for somebody to find somebody else, train that person, and to feel that, than just to allow you to feel more valued in your position. Yeah,
And
we're actually in a place where people don't want to work at the moment, because a lot of people are looking at kids on YouTube making millions of dollars for, selling farts or whatever.
And Andrew, you know what? This is exactly what Roxy, you're right. This is exactly what I did. I worked so many hours and then it became normal. So what, now you're only working 8 instead of 10, 12, 14. I'm like, well, so who set the expectation? Well, I did. Then all of a sudden I'm pushing back. I'm like, I'm not going to do that anymore, because it's not in my contract. My contract says 40 hours a week plus my meetings, which is fine. And all of a sudden, like, oh, well, it didn't get done. Well, why don't you done? Because I ran out of time. It's not in my contract.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
almost everyone who's overwhelmed with their time is, when you come down to it, when you break it down, it becomes a boundary issue. 100%. Like I work with many people. My actual expertise is moving people from 9 to 5 who are overwhelmed, who hate their jobs, into something that's sustainable for them, that doesn't wipe out all their energy, so they can do more and focus more on the things that they love doing. And I can tell you that, like, 99% of the time, it is a boundary issue. And that it's the needing to people please, the idea that, you have this boss that you work for and they somehow own all of your time. And not understanding what you bring to the table. Yeah.
I don't actually necessarily think it's the bosses. It's the individual's work ethic as well. Like,
that's what I mean. As in, it's the enabling that you've put somebody here.
Yeah.
Because and the thing is, if if from a business point of view, if you've got somebody that is literally handing you everything and giving you all of their time and not asking for any more and not in return, as a business point of view, without looking and seeking that and caring about the person's emotional or spiritual well-being or physical well-being, you may just kind of allow that to happen because it saves you money, you know. But that person is giving everything, and then on the other side of it, they're enabling the situation, but then they're building resentment towards the situation they're enabling. This is where I find that the problem is, until they get to a breaking point, which we call the fuck it point. You know, when you keep going in that, you hit a fucking point, right? And then you blow up, and then things drastically change, or you leave the job, and that's it.
I love it, Roxy. That's what I hit. Oh, that's it. And my boss was like, "God, she's gonna walk out." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, what do you need?" I'm like, "Okay, I come back to you. I give you a list."
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is, have the conversation or recognize that when somebody hires you and you do a good job, and be okay with admitting, hey, actually, I really bring a lot to the table here. Understand that the people who hire you know that. They may not want to talk about it, but they know it, right? And then if they don't, and they don't value you, then why are you working for those people anyway? You're the kind of person that would get hired like anything.
You know what? I want to.
There is not a what do you call it? A lack of people hiring it. There isn't, actually. Kelly?
You said two things that are really important. One is your why. You know, why are you doing the thing that you're doing? If you're in the 9 to 5 and you absolutely love it and you feel like it's your life calling to be doing that, and it's, you know, working for a boss, then, you know, power to you. But if you're doing that because it's about paying the bills, then maybe there's another why that's really, you know, reaching and so yeah, I just go back to Simon Sinek's book, Start with Why, you know, and then
100%.
start to bring out what's really the driver here for you, for what you want for your life, put you in the driver's seat of your life, and then and also look back, you know, at the end of your life.
Yeah.
By the end of my life, if I was to say, you know, this is what I did my life and was spent doing this, is that the thing that I want people to be left with? You know, or if you left your job today, how fast would they fill your role? Like how
Totally.
really, you know, you can be really dispensable. But there's some things that only you can do. And if you build your skills around those things that make you you, then that's what's indispensable.
Totally. And the other thing that I'm going to say, and I'm like, I live by this, you can actually be doing more and feel less tired, right? Because we talk about in our work and in the personal development side, because there's always two sides to building anything. There's always the logistical part, and then there's always the spiritual part of it. Yeah. So there are your energy, things that give you energy and things that zap your energy. Yeah. Energy boosters, energy zappers. Now, if you're in a 40, if you're engaging in an activity for 40 hours that is zapping all of your energy, you won't have your energy to do anything. But when you decide that you're going to do things and focus on things that you're passionate about, I'm not saying that it doesn't feel like work. I think that I do more than 40 hours a week for work, but I'm super energized and I feel amazing because I get to do the things that boost my energy, not take it away. Right? So you can engage in activity that just drains everything, or you could And then you can go, okay, you know what? All right, I have to do this job. I've got 35 hours of stuff that I absolutely hate, but maybe I can find 5 hours a week to do a side hustle of something that I absolutely love. And what that's going to do is going to feed my soul again to recharge me for that 30-hour of horrible stuff that I'm doing. Yeah, it's about creating a balance for your life to be able to feel good, to give you back that energy. And it's not sleep. It's not doing nothing. It's doing something that that lights up your soul. And I talk about how I said to my husband at one point, I was working and I was teaching 30 hours of like singing lessons a while back ago, and I was doing gigs at nighttime, and then I just had the kids. I had a baby, and there was so much that I was doing, and I really wanted to record an album, and I wanted to just do my own music and not sing other people's music. And then I ended up saying, I have absolutely no more hours in the day. I literally just work, do this, sleep, then get up, work. And that's it. The only time I have is when I'm eating and when I'm sleeping. And David's like, you just need to make the time. And then at one point he was like, don't sleep. He was like, and I'm like, that's crazy. He's like, when you put down the kids, go to the studio and record something. And I was like, no. And he's like, trust me, just do it. And then, so I just started one day. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. I put the kids down. It was 11 o'clock at night. And then I went into the studio room and I started playing some music, and I wrote some stuff. I recorded a song. And then it meant that I went to bed at 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning, but I had a really great sleep, right? Because I felt amazing. So I had a really great night, and I felt less tired the next day. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I need to be doing more of that. And all of a sudden, I magically found time enough to do that. Because when we need to find time to do something, the time is there. Time expands for you when you need it. You just have decided that you don't have the time most of the time for whatever it is.
Oh, amazing. Roxy, tell us now, because we are engaged in the next steps. And so what's your program? What are you up to now?
So my program is to empower people to come in and join the conversation and learn about starting and growing a business. And I opened it up for everyone to come in. It's $11 a week, so it's very affordable. And what we do is we all jump in a group together and we build together. And we build and grow together, and we answer questions that are relevant. We learn about different ways that we can earn, because I guess that thing of not putting all your eggs in one basket also applies to when you're starting your own business, that you don't just put all your energy into one thing, and if that thing falls away, you don't have anything else. So learning about passive income, learning how to set and forget something, learning how to diversify the skills that you're doing, to do little bits and pieces, learning how to take the job that you currently have and put it into a better space so that it's not zapping all of your energy. So it's really about this process of the transition between being completely controlled by external forces with your income and time and energy into a place where you're more self-sufficient and self-reliant on, for the day-to-day things that you're doing. So that's what my next step program is about. It's pretty awesome. I'm very happy with the conversations, the learning, the spaces, the community that we're building. And I feel like everybody needs to be a part of a support center that is like-minded, that moves forward, that's building momentum to grow. And so that's why I created it. 100% the first step is just to start. And then know that if you don't know anything, you've got the knowledge and people with the knowledge and the resources around you that are going to support you with anything. Because one of the stuff is like, even with the self-reliance community, if you don't know how to do something, you can always ask, and somebody will know somebody that will maybe know somebody that will be able to give you the answer to the question or help you to find where to get that answer.
100%. And we are loving the Next Steps program, and really just that growth. Every coach needs a coach. Every business needs a coach. And you know, we just love that community and support that we get, not only from Roxy but from everyone in that group. So we welcome you to come and try it out. We meet on Zoom on a Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And yeah, if you're intrigued, then you can pop in for a visit. Ask me. You can ask Emma for the details to just come on and have a visit and take a look and see if it's a fit for you. I think you would know after this conversation tonight, because Roxy's
absolutely.
Generous.
I think it's really just about, again, it comes down to the energy source. You know, we do so much in our life that pulls energy from us. We need to be doing more in our lives that gives us back energy. So wherever you can find this energy is where everything where everything comes in. And even with the not being able to, I said, Cheryl was saying can't do Wednesdays, putting myself out there in new business that night, come in and be a part of the actual chat thread communities. There are always replays on the actual training and implementation, but the best thing is that you get access to me and the other ladies in there and the expertise, and there's a vault of courses and information that you can take that doesn't cost you anything extra, that you can take, that are self-paced, that you can also have access to in order to learn things and ask questions. It's that being a part of a community of people that are just running to their goals and creating that momentum.
Yeah, super good. Super good. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight and for your questions and comments and input. And thank you so much, Roxy, for being here and really leading the way, being the example for us to follow, and creating your life by design and then making that available to us.
Amazing. I think that it's always amazing to speak to your community anyway. I feel like it's very a very beautiful community that you've pulled together, and I can't wait to see. I'm always tracking the growth of My Self Reliance, but it's really nice to see the people in your community then expanding and taking the lead and creating their own branches to this beautiful tree of life that we have going here.
Well, thank you so much. And Roxy was with us at our last expo last year, so I know you've got big things over there, so we won't see you at this year's expo. But for everyone else, put that date in your diary, the 4th of May. May the 4th be with us. And join us at the expo. It's going to be awesome, and bring your business and come and meet all the other businesses that are thriving and really showing their stuff and on the self-reliance stage. So
I'm going to second that the expo is one of what I'm talking about in terms of networking in real life. There's a lot of the posting on social media and all that kind of stuff actually doesn't matter if you're not getting out there and connecting with real people, whether it be live like this or in real life with people. And that's such a great opportunity to come together as a community, to then take home a whole bunch of connections and new resources and new people that are like-minded. So please take advantage of that. It is free, right?
100%, that's awesome.
And it's a great chance to see what what's out there and be inspired by people focusing on solutions.
Yay. Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time, where we're going to go another deeper dive into this conversation. And we've got Georgette coming on, and she's going to be sharing with us about finding your soul's purpose. So she does this brilliant vision board exercise, which then takes you deeper into your why. So if you still haven't, after this conversation, found your why, then join us in 2 weeks' time, where we're going to take another deep dive into that. So
Thanks, Kelly.
Great.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
Roxy.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Rox.
much, Kelly.
Kelly.
Very good. Thank you.
thanks,
See you,
guys.
ladies.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Kelly Wilkins. I am the founder of My Self Reliance. Here at My Self Reliance, we like to gather the community together. It's been amazing, actually. The sense of community, the connection between the people. We are all coming from different walks of life, from different backgrounds, but feeling in harmony together, aligned with the same purpose is just amazing. And the people here have depth of knowledge, experience and skills, and they are wholeheartedly sharing it with the whole community. This is just amazing.
It's been fantastic to be at the My Self Reliance Festival. I'm here presenting a fermentation workshop, so that was lots of fun this afternoon. We got to make a bunch of sauerkraut, fermented veggies, do some fermented sodas, and just learn about gut health and how to preserve and how to live a healthier life.
I get excited when I see other people get excited that they can do what I'm teaching. So I did 72-hour go bags, and it's a way to be self-reliant and prepared for time of crisis. And I really enjoyed being able to share that with people, because it helps other people see that they can be much more self-reliant, much more prepared for emergencies and crisis, and that they can be this person of calm in a time of chaos, which is really important, I think, in these days.
Every time I just take myself from where I am today to where do I want to be. And I just take those little baby steps, move myself, okay, where do we are today, where do I want to be?
I also came here to learn and to be a part of a greater community that can actually help us come together as community and be self-reliant in any situation, whether that be survival situations, whether that be to look after each other as a community using the resources that we have, using the food resources or emergency equipment.
I think I've enjoyed most about today is being at the beginning of something that you can see will grow over the coming years. So it's really lovely to have known Kelly and to see it from ground up.